Back with Bob Bianchi, who's a former Morris County prosecutor. Bob, when you hear about the fact that they have an IED factory, allegedly, in that apartment, when you talk about them being, or Farouk being at the party, but not being in the group photo, you raised that great point that he could have been casing it, making sure that everyone is there, planning this attack.
Yeah, I mean, he may not have wanted. He may have gotten, like, my feeling on this, he may want to not get into an argument. He may want to be there just to see what's going on and case the place. He may have had a problem with somebody, got into an argument and left. It was kind of inartful because this clearly was a planned event, and he was putting a radar on himself by leaving in that manner. So, Eric, I think that without any question in my mind, this was something that they were ready to go operational with. He was there casing the particular area. He wasn't going to participate in the photo. You just don't start putting on these tactical outfits and have all of this firepower and then have all of these explosive devices, which clearly, and this isn't the first case, they want law enforcement to walk through the door and get blown up, booby-trap the house, if it were. So these guys were really looking to do some carnage, and they weren't just looking to do carnage to innocent people. They were looking to do carnage to law enforcement authorities that were investigating the case.
You know there has to be more people that are involved in all of this. I mean, first of all, who was watching that 6-month-old baby when they took off for this party? Who did they leave that baby with? Where is that baby now? Whoever had that baby, I would believe, would know something. You know, were they acting strangely? Did they happen to notice that they walked out of there with a ton of ammunition? If the baby was left at the home, and then earlier we had heard reports of boxes and different things coming in and out of the house with somebody living in the garage. There has to be more involved. That's the question. I mean, how much of that are they not telling us right now? Because it seems to me that we're only getting a very small smidgen of information when it comes to how much authorities are actually looking into.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you, and they're not going to tell you for a couple different reasons. If there are other actors, and I agree with your assessment, Julie, was right spot on, and there are other people that are involved in this, they're not going to come out and say, nor would I have done that, and said, by the way, we're looking for other individuals that we believe are involved in it, because you're keying into them that they need to be concerned, they need to be protective. Also, the law enforcement's going to be looking to see whether or not there are other incidents that may be occurring with a group of people somewhere else. Sometimes they throw one incident one place and then they do something and plan another attack somewhere else. So I don't expect law enforcement is going to come forward at all and give any investigative data, one, that hasn't been vetted out, and secondly, that could compromise their investigation to get other actors that may have been involved, and I believe from the evidence that I'm seeing were involved in the preparation, planning, and execution of this incident.
Okay, Saeed Farouk apparently left the party angry, but he did arrive, and I don't think he arrived there because he wanted to party for Christmas. The question is, why did he go there? Now, Adam Housley had said that he went there to sort of case out the situation and see if there was any kind of security or anything that could potentially stop him from carrying out this horrific crime. But what more can we learn in the moments beforehand that could potentially help investigators try to figure out what would lead them to perhaps stop this from happening again? Are there any signs whatsoever that employers can look out for when it comes to an employee just going to attend a party? Because right now we are, as a nation, on high alert during the holidays, as the FBI has warned us after the Paris attacks. So this is the conversation that needs to be had in every office building in this country.
Yeah, Julie, I think that we're at a place in our culture, in our society, where if you even put this case aside for a moment, that people are at a tipping point, and their answer when they're frustrated, when they're angry, when things don't go their way, is to take a gun out and start killing innocent people. Yeah, I've seen, in the 26 years that I've been doing homicide investigations, more senseless violence that's not related to radical jihad or any Islamic stuff. For many years has been developing, and we've been talking about it in the law enforcement community. Some sort of cultural reaction to what's going on here. But what can you do? And that's the point. We need people to be the eyes and ears. For example, if this data is correct, that this woman saw all these things happening, that's a person that, with all due respect, I don't mean to pin it on her, but I'm saying to anybody, you need to make a phone call to law enforcement and say, I see something that's odd that's going on. We need the citizens to be invested in the law enforcement effort, and I think that's kind of waned since September 11, 2001, and I think we're going to probably see it go back up, but we need to stay vigilant with regard to helping law enforcement when they see suspicious activity.
Well, Bob, there was a neighbor apparently who saw men, a variety of men at all hours of the night going in and out of that apartment with boxes and this sort of thing. They were getting a lot of deliveries, so potentially that was some of the equipment that they were buying, wherever they were getting it, for this horrendous assault. But you know what people will say? Okay, you suspect something maybe, but you think you're being bigoted perhaps because of who they are. I mean, how do you deal with that versus having an actual real fear that there could be something untoward?
Well, I mean, you have to use the rule of common sense in any investigation, and as law enforcement authorities, we always say, call it in. We got to get away from political correctness here, and I don't mean that negatively. I don't believe in stereotyping any group of people, but if you're seeing something that in your gut is telling you is unusual and something that doesn't make sense, there is nothing wrong with just reaching out to law enforcement saying, hey, there's something a little odd here, and here's what it is, and then let law enforcement make a decision if it wants to move in and interdict here. And another big key player for us, Eric, that we reached out to a lot is the business community, especially the deliverers, the carriers, the UPSs, the people that are going to these homes delivering these kinds of packages if they see something unusual. Yep,
and see what is being delivered. If indeed it doesn't have like a brown envelope, see what's going in.
Exactly.
Bob Bianchi, Hudson County prosecutor who has prosecuted terrorism cases. Stay with us. We thank you for your insight and analysis of what has been going on tonight.
We'll be right back.